John Boehner may have announced his resignation last Friday as Speaker of the House, but he's certainly not easing up in his assessment of his colleagues. Most recently lashing out at some of the most conservative House members, saying they should be getting something accomplished. Take a listen.
Well, are they unrealistic about what can be done in government? That's the dysfunction.
Absolutely, they're unrealistic. But the Bible says, beware of false prophets. And there are people out there, spreading noise about how much can get done. We got groups here in town, members of the House and Senate here in town, who whip people into a frenzy, believing they can accomplish things that they know are never going to happen.
Florida Congressman Dan Webster has thrown his hat into the ring to become the next Speaker of the House. He joins us now live. Congressman, what do you make of those comments? And would you be, in pursuing the speakership, promising people things that you can't deliver?
No, what I'm promising is a principle-based, member-driven Congress. I believe that's the most important thing. Power and principle cannot coexist. So what I would like to see is a Congress not governed by the top down in this big pyramid of power, but be it governed on principle so that every member has an opportunity to participate.
Well, and last time around, you got several votes, and it was a little bit surprising for us who were watching. We didn't know if there was a plan or if it was just something that happened in the spur of the moment. But clearly, there's some of your colleagues who were willing to, stick their necks out and say, "This is our guy." I mean, are you going to be able to build the numbers you would need to challenge the Majority Leader McCarthy, who says he's in too?
Well, I think the real key here is I didn't cause a problem, I only exposed one. And the exposing of a problem is similar to what I did in Florida when I became the first speaker there, to operate a principle-based process as opposed to power-based. Because when you have principles, it doesn't really matter what the idea, who sponsors the idea. What matters is what it says. And I think that's the key. When you do that, you take up the most important issues first. I think the real problem here is every time and again, we run up against a deadline, and then the only decision is a bad one.
Well, for instance, the continuing resolution and funding the government, I mean, is there going to be a point at when, it goes back to regular budgeting, working through things versus these, edge-of-the-cliff votes that you reference?
I think one of the key things is to take up the most important things first. That's it. And I know in Florida when I did that, the session before I became Speaker, the first bill we took up was the naming of the state pie. That's the problem. That's what we do here. And what we need to do is focus on the appropriations, do it first, get it done by, let's say, March 1st, and then move on. And that way you're going to be pushed against a deadline that says the only thing possible is a CR.
All right. Well, Congressman, we all love a good pie, but I think we'd all agree that there are much more pressing issues going on the Hill. We'll watch this race. It should be very interesting as it plays out, and we wish you the best in your efforts. Thank you, sir.
Great to be on, Shannon. Thanks a lot.